as far as like, okay, so you're recruited by Georgetown, you go there for 1 year, 2 years?
I'm there for 2 years. Yeah.
2 years.
Mhm.
Okay. And then you ended up transferring to Texas Tech.
Yeah.
What was kind of like the main driver behind that transfer? Like what was it, play style? Was it, what was that?
Really, some things happened off the court. I love Georgetown. I love the fan base, and some things, I'll keep quiet out of the respect for Georgetown University, but it just wasn't acceptable, and I felt like it was, I had to make a move, and it's a scary process transferring. So I got lucky with Coach Beard and that staff.
Did you consider going to the NBA instead of transferring? Or like, did you test the waters at all?
Yeah, I did. I actually tested the waters, had some interviews. It was the COVID year, so I couldn't, like, a guy like me, like, I need to go work out in front of
Yeah.
people. And so it wasn't very, beneficial. So I kind of just like, man, I got to go back to college and, have a better year, improve myself. And
Yep. And then you had a good year at Texas Tech, and then you left after your junior year?
yes, sir.
Okay. Coming into the NBA, like, did you think you were going to get drafted? Did you know that, like, I'm going to have to go the long route around? Or what was kind of your mindset coming into, like, those workouts with teams?
Yeah, so I kind of, a bunch of people tell you different things, but the people I respected the most, one of the guy who was a coach in the NBA, he's a reporter now. Like, I have a lot of respect for him. He was like, either way, you're gonna have to get out the mud. Like, you're gonna have to go the long way around. Like, that's gonna be your story. Like, that's just what's gonna have to happen. And your agent's talking to teams, and I'm like, I was working out with Drew Hanlon at the time. This was like a really funny story to me, and I'm like, I can prove a team and show them I'm worth being drafted. And Drew's like, you're going undrafted. I was like, damn, okay.
Yeah, Drew's very real. He's not going to sugarcoat anything.
He's like, no one's gonna draft you. You're gonna have to prove it. You know what I mean? And you're gonna have to take it from the mud, and you will. And I was like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, I love that. And so, okay, undrafted, what is that like on draft night? Like, are you watching? Are you like, there's a possibility I could get drafted, or did you kind of just know that you weren't going to get drafted?
I had a feeling I wasn't. There was maybe one or two teams that would like, maybe had a chance of calling at the end of the draft, but it didn't work out. And it's hard. It's like, man, like, oh, this guy, and you can't really ever compare yourself to other people in this game. But you watch. It's a long night, but it's weird because like right after the draft, you have a bunch of teams calling. Oh, luckily I had some teams calling to decide what I was going to do, and I had the training camp offer from a couple teams, and I decided to go with the Lakers. And
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And then this year, G League Rookie of the Year. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
It's big stuff. And I mean, 22, 7, 6, like almost LeBron type stat lines. Like, you were killing the G League. What was the difference, do you feel like, in terms of like play style between college and the G League?
There's a lot more spacing. The game slowed down a little bit. There's so many great players in the G League. I try to, emphasize that as much as I can. But I think really it was a personal thing for me. I just approached the game mentally a lot differently. I grew a lot mentally. And I just started playing as a point guard. I'm like, I'm going to be a point guard first. And then the points just started coming. It was just like, every game I go into, I'm thinking about, passing and rebounding. And then like the points just started flowing in with my aggressiveness. So I feel like that kind of really helped me and, take another level up from where I was last year.
You shot the ball really well this year. And I think a guy as explosive as you, when you shoot well, the defender now has to make a decision. Do I stop the shot, or, do I get blown by? And so I feel like you had so much space in the lane. Your blow-bys, it was like, it's at me watching the way that I perceive it. It's like as soon as the defender realizes that you're driving, it's like too late. It's like you're just so fast off the dribble. And then you have so many finishing options because you can dunk, but really like a big part of your superpower is up and unders, floaters, extension hooks. Like you have all those different finishes. So I feel like that helps you. And then this year I saw you make that leap as a passer and being able to see the whole floor. So that was impressive to watch. And then you got a call up for the Bulls, right?
Mm-hmm.
But didn't really get much minutes. Scored, got a bucket. Hey,
Yeah.
you got your bucket.
I really enjoyed my time there. It was a great organization, and all the players were great and the coaches. So it was definitely a positive, and I'm lucky to have that experience.
Yeah. And then at the end of the season, you got called up to the big squad with the Lakers. And what was that experience like?
It was weird because, I was so invested in the South Bay, the G League team, and, we just lost like 2 days before. And my agent's like, well, just stay around, just stay around. I'm like, after season, you kind of want to not shut down, but you kind of want to have a mental break. But he was like, the Lakers talking about maybe bringing you up, putting you on a two-way. And I was like, okay, let's stay in the gym. So I went to the gym the next day after the loss and got ready, stayed ready. And I think it was like a weird timing, like late at night. I was waiting all day, like each day. And then, he's like, yeah, they're going to give it to you and you're going to play tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, cool, dope. And it was great, man. I felt like all the guys up there were super proud of me for what I did in the G League. And that was really refreshing to know that they, keep up with us. And
Yeah.
It was great, man. I'm really appreciative that the Lakers did that.
Yeah. That's awesome. And then being around, one of the GOATs, LeBron, like, are there things that you picked up on or just watching his work ethic? Or is there anything that you kind of took away from that experience so far of being around LeBron?
Yeah, I'm not going to front like I've been around LeBron a lot, but I was there around him in preseason and a little bit, we're in the same facility. So he's just an elite individual and a good human, man. I think he's so smart too. He was so inspirational to me about the X's and O's and how he would talk in film room. And I tell the story where it's like we're in there for a long time. And, after a while you're like, oh man, like more film. And he's like super engaged, him and Rondo. I love Rajon Rondo. And just seeing how consistent he was each day in the gym before everyone, lifting weights. And I'm just like, man, this guy's elite. This is why he is who he is. So
right.
That was special for me to take another step.